Hello everyone, Exilium here. We have a new Platoon boss here that is a little bit different than the last one, but very similar in terms of mechanics, and I'm actually going to play him very similar to that way I played the other one, because we have to do it, I do it 3 times a day, because I do take advantage of the extra hit, and I don't like having to like min-max my movements to fight him, and so, he's fairly straightforward, and you can fight him exactly like you fight the other boss. You just got to be cognizant of his entire kit here so that you make the right actions on every turn. And it has like a 3-turn cycle that it looks like he repeats, so he does the same thing every 3 turns. And so when we look at his skills, the first one here is Oppressor Shockwave. And this one's important to keep track of, especially if you're not going to play like I do, because he knocks back a unit by 1 tile. That knockback of 1 tile is important because he has his defense one here, or an AoE, which has a defense reduction on it, and deals AoE damage within equal to 40% attack to all enemy units within 5 tiles. So if you get knocked out of that 5 tiles by his first attack, which he does before this one, then it's not going to count that as a person being within the AoE range. And it's important that all of your team members get hit by this AoE, because 1, it removes this debuff, or this buff he has, Formation Reinforcement, as well as adding 1 stack for every 3 targets hit of Aggressive Protection. So the first thing is this Formation Reinforcement comes from his other skill here, which he will cast, of course, right before that one. And this one adds 7 stacks of Formation Reinforcement. So as you can see here, you can remove 6 stacks if you bring Papasha. So yes, of course, Papasha you're going to want Papasha for this boss. And because you remove 6 stacks with that, and then for every 3 targets hit, Papasha makes it where you can have 6 targets, gain 1 stack of Aggressive Protection, so you can get 2 stacks of Aggressive Protection, which is a 30% defense decrease, so you can get a 60% defense decrease with those 6 targets. So absolutely massive there. Then you have his other one here, Omen Strike. This one is selects an enemy closest enemy target, deals physical damage, yada yada yada. That doesn't matter. The part that matters is you want to have 3 debuffs on him. If you do not have 3 debuffs on him when he does this strike, he's going to get 1 stack of emergency defenses, which you cannot remove from him. And the damage taken is decreased by 10%, and it can stack. So you want to always have 3 debuffs on him. That's fairly easy to do with the units we have. You do that, but there is something where he can cleanse himself that you have to worry about, which is this Fortress Formation. This is the last skill in his kit. Randomly summon 1 Fortress device within a 5-tile radius and deals physical damage equal to 40% attack to all units within a 3x3 area. Don't care about the damage, realistically. I mean, he doesn't do enough damage for me to care. What I do care about is his last part here. Fortress device. If it's still active, so if you do not kill this after he summons it, it will be absorbed by the the Titan, removing all of his debuffs. Removes all the debuffs, and of course, the turn that he puts this out, the next turn is the one where he does the attack, where you have to have 3 debuffs on him. So if you do not kill this thing, he's going to remove the debuffs and get a 10% defense reduction increase, or damage reduction increase. So you have to kill this as soon as it comes out. I usually it's fairly weak. Just kill it with your weakest unit to make sure that it does not cleanse him. And then you have your typical. The passive is pretty much the same, except Fortune Titan initiates an active attack against the original attacker of whoever attacks the Fortress device. Not that big a deal there. And we'll kind of see that stuff here in action with this boss. Now, when it comes to the buffs and debuffs here, now I'm going to be using a Macchiato with my Burn team here. He is weak to Electric and Burn. Electric, we don't really have units. I think this boss was released for CN when they probably got Lena and Jianju, because they would be great against him. But Electric and Burn damage dealt in crit are increased by 30%. Vanguard, and then the other one you have 4 over here. Chain Current. And if the enemy is inflicted by a electric debuff, increases critical damage against them by 25%. I mean, we really can't do that unless you have the very few electric units we have, like Moza and Nagant, to do that. And so this one's going to be nearly impossible to trigger. This one seems to be completely designed around Lena, because Lena's Common Key allows you to put an electric debuff every turn. And that would be great with her. Corrosion damage increased by 20%. Useless unless you really got your Nemesis built up. But even then, I mean, I don't have her built. But yeah, that one's kind of pointless there, unless you're using her on your like third team. And then you have the other two Vanguard dolls. Gain 25% increased crit rate on this one. So build the team around Vanguard dolls for this one. Medium penetration, medium ammo, ignores 50% of a target's defense. This is going to be the one that I use for my big strong team here. They get to take advantage of it completely. And we can get 60% reduction from his debuff. So he's going to have very little defense when his defense is down. And this is the team we're going to go with on this one to kind of show him off. Now, I'm not going to show his entire battle. I'm going to just show the 3-turn rotation, and then he repeats himself from there. And when he repeats, that's basically when I'll kind of call the video. The big thing first is making sure Papa Shah's robot is going to be within range. I've been putting Papa Shah here, and it seems to work out that he's always in range. I have the fixed key on Papa Shah that the robot won't move on his own, so that we can keep him within range. And then the other thing is I put these two over here. This way, everybody's close enough that I just can bum rush them and put them all right next to him. And I think that's all I do here. Now, the big thing is my strategy to keep this is... Oh, and she put him in, like, the best spot possible right there. My strategy with this is I don't even care about taking cover because this boss simply does not do enough damage for me to care. So I just get everybody right up next to him. If I just throw everybody at him and put him right next to him, I don't have to worry about the knockback he does. They're going to knock him back by 1. I'll just throw him right next to him again. Not a big deal. He just doesn't do enough damage for me to care. But I just put QJ right here because she can't get knocked back in this position. But everybody else, I just throw right next to him. He just simply doesn't do enough. Now, when he does bring down that Fortress device, it is going to do that 3x3 AoE. So it might make sense to put him around, get like really close to him, but around him. But to me, this is simple enough. Just throw them all right next to him. Then you don't even have to think about the 5. Because one thing I forgot to mention is the 5 tiles away is based off the center. So you do not include anything around him. So when you look at his corner here, this one, it's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's from the center. Which this one is only 3 away from right here. This one's only 3 away from right here, but that's the farthest you can be from the boss. As you can see, the highlight right here shows it, I believe. It looks like it, or maybe no, it doesn't. That's the movement. Sorry, but you can see this one right. It's off the center here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is within 5 of the center. So right here is not close enough, even though it's within 4 of this one. So you just got to remember, it's based off the center, not his entire square. Completely forgot to mention that with his skill. It actually shows that in the skill too, so... okay, so we can attack him. So the easiest way to not even have to think about that, though, is just put him right up next to him. He just doesn't do enough damage for me to care. And I'll put her right there. And she's going to get triggered by Macchiato, so I can use my skill that doesn't trigger Macchiato here. Yeah, I think I used this one here. And then I'll just put her right there. Nice thing is they won't even get knocked back when they're behind these things. Just hit them as hard as you can. I'll just put her there, put her shield up. And then his turn. So he's going to do the knockback attack. He's going to do his knockback attacks. Boom, knocked her back one. Farthest, knocked her back one, which he couldn't. Put on the fortifications. Now he's going to do the AoEs, which is going to remove a bunch of those stacks. And he's going to have 2 stacks of the defense reduction added. And then he has my other debuffs on him. So now when we act, and I didn't look at the turns here, but he basically did the knockback, put the fortifications on himself, the 7 stacks, then did that AoE that removed 6 stacks of it, and then put the 60% defense reduction. And so we can actually look at him to see that here. So he has one more stack of that reinforcement still, even though he hit 6 units. You can only he put 7 units on. You can remove 6, so he has 1 stack left. And then after that, so if you wanted to min-max this, it would be tricky because one attack's going to get wasted on him. And so you're going to want to use your weakest unit for that first attack. But, so when we look at what he's going to do on this turn, he's going to do that same Oppressor's one that knocks people back. And then that Fortress device is going to come down, 3x3 area, and then he's going to do the Omen Strike where he needs 3 debuffs. So you want to make sure you have 3 debuffs at the end of this turn. Right now he only has 2. And so, just to not worry about that, the knockback, I just put everybody like right up against him. That one thing does a 3x3 grid damage, so just keep them around him. Don't put everybody right next to each other. So, did I already... Yeah, make sure I do my QJ first. And actually, he's going to ignore the first attack, so I'll just do it with her. This should remove 1 stack. Good, and then I believe that removed it. Okay, and now I will go with Macchiato here. Hit him. Boom, boom. QJ coming in. And then we can hit with that. Man, she's doing some decent damage there too on her own. Okay, I'll just bring her up close again. We got 3, you can see we have 3 debuffs on him up there. So we are good on him not being able to put that 1 buff on him. Knocked Sharkry back 1. Knocked her. Now, them being within range doesn't matter for this turn because he's not doing that attack. I don't care. I don't want to think about it. It's super simple. He's not doing enough damage for me to care that they're exposed here. Now, this is going to be important to kill at the end of this turn. So I just make sure, okay, she's going to be able to kill it. She's going to be the one that gets counterattacked. That's completely fine there. I don't care. So she'll be able to kill it. And this turn, all he does is the knockback attack, and then he does the one where he'll get that emergency defenses if he doesn't have 3 debuffs. If this thing is not dead on this turn, he will remove all debuffs he has. So as long as we kill this thing, these debuffs will still be on there, and he will not be able to apply that damage reduction to himself. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, I do not have counters from her, so I believe I need to make sure I do attacks from all of my units in a way that triggers all of hers. Let's go ahead and move her up 1 again. See, I just keep everyone nice and tight against him. And that one does not trigger hers. Yeah, and then it does say she is going to do her action support, so that one works there. Boom. That actually worked out perfectly with her attack there. I didn't even think of that. That ultimate attack there where I moved him both killed that and got everybody to counter him. That's a good... I did not have that happen last time. Usually I just had Cinerisi kill him off at the end. So that actually... There's a strategy for you. I didn't even have planned that one out for it, but it worked out really good. Then we'll just attack with you. And then, like, if you are worried, if you have Cinerisi, you can do our ultimate here and give everybody a nice big heal. I'm pretty sure. And, yeah, there's no more attacks from her, so we can just do this one again. And there we go. Since that thing's dead... Oh, shoot. He's... Good, okay. There we go. And now, so he's got the defense reduction is gone, but this turn he's basically resetting and doing the same thing again. attacks the nearest and furthest, knocking them back, gains 7 stacks of fortification reinforcement, does his AoE where it removes those fortification reinforcements and adds that 2 stacks of defense reduction. By keeping my units all nice and tight, I don't have to worry about his range or anything there. And so I just rinse and repeat. And that's it. I mean, look, you can see their health. I don't have a Suomi, so they don't have shields other than Macchiato. And they're all close to full health. So I'm not even concerned about that at all with this boss. But that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go ahead and do the rest of the fight because it's just rinse and repeat now. He's going to go through that same cycle, and then the fight will be over. But yeah, that's all there is to it. If you like my content, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. And thanks for watching.